Earlier this year, the government announced its plans to use the Huawei technology, but said it wouldn't implement it in sensitive areas. Critics have accused the Chinese firm of posing a security threat, which it has strenuously denied. Many countries, including the US, have banned Huawei from their 5G rollout. Well, to discuss this further, I'm now joined by cybersecurity expert Jeremy Swinfen Green. Jeremy, thanks for joining us here in the studio. Boris Johnson narrowly won this. Were those Tory rebels right to fight the government over this issue?
Well, I think they were right to realise there was a risk there, but I think they were wrong in their analysis of the risk. There's a risk to any business decision that you make, and 5G is no different. There's a risk with using Ericsson, with using Nokia, with using anybody. The risks in the case of Huawei are, I believe, very manageable.
We're talking about risks in terms of security. But what does that mean? That they could be spying on us through this network?
I think there would be a lot easier ways for the Chinese to spy on us than building backdoors into Huawei's 5G products, to be honest. And what we really need to think about is what the opportunities are here. If we were to cut Huawei out of 5G development, it would mean that 5G rollout was enormously delayed in this country, and that's going to impact on our international competitiveness. And you need to think that Huawei, actually, by being part of the party, they bring a lot to this. They bring innovation, they bring the ability to increase competition and therefore up quality and drive down costs. And importantly, they bring resilience. So with Huawei there, if things go wrong for another party, we've got a backup. So it's reducing risks in many ways.
All right, but what if we start becoming so dependent on this network, particularly running the country's infrastructure? Is there a chance that maybe one day all that could be closed down by the Chinese?
No, I don't think so. You need to remember that Huawei's limited in terms of what it's delivering here, or what it's going to be delivering here. So it's limited in geographic terms, so their kit can't be near military installations, for instance. They're limited in terms of their dominance in the whole of the 5G market, so they can only take around about a third of it. And they're limited in terms of their ability to provide their kit in core areas of the network.
So if that's the case, why are other countries so reluctant to use Huawei in their networks, the US, for example?
Well, that's an interesting question, and you'd probably have to ask them. But in terms of security, I'd say that other countries have got different problems. They've got different levels of infrastructure investment that they need to make. They've got different resources in terms of their skills, in terms of the infrastructure they've already got. So what's right for the UK isn't necessarily going to be right for somebody else.
Of course, Huawei's been here in the UK, what, since 2003?
Yeah, that's right.
And yet there is still a lot of suspicion. Is the government then going to win this? Will it be able to convince those who are sceptical and say, yes, we will back the government?
I think they should be able to do that, because the National Cybersecurity Centre, who are some of the guys who look after us, have done a huge amount of work in this area. They've analysed what the risks are. They've analysed how to mitigate those risks. And as I say, the downsides for not including Huawei will be major for the UK.
Why do we have to depend on the Chinese Huawei for this sort of technology? Why haven't other countries? Why haven't we, indeed?
Indeed, why haven't we? Why haven't we? It's an interesting question. One of the problems is that this area doesn't generate a lot of revenue. So there aren't that many big companies investing in it. It would be lovely to think that some UK companies could invest in it, but I think probably there'd need to be some incentives from government for that to happen.
Just finally, what does 5G mean for you and me, for the rest of us? What sort of improvements and advantages are we going to see?
It's really about speed, isn't it? It's really about connected cities. It's about enabling things like driverless cars and trucks. I mean, if you're managing a driverless truck, you want to make sure that anything you're doing can impact the truck pretty quickly. That's 5G. Without 5G, those driverless trucks are going to be a bit of a nightmare on the road.
Jeremy Swinfen Green, thank you very much indeed for joining us here in the studio. Good to talk to you about it. Thank you.